I want to thank Hillary Kennedy for filling in for me yesterday because I went all day yesterday out with Glenn Beck and Mercury One to North Carolina to see Hurricane Helene, the damages that it did, and also the recovery efforts led by Mercury One and Matthew. It was an incredible day. And yes, I want to say, of course, our thoughts and prayers are out with them, and the devastation that we saw was so impactful to see that in person, flying over it in a helicopter, driving around town and in the cars. But the thing that I leave with more than anything is just a sense of hope, because these people they're the Blaze audience, right? These are the people that we want to be around and surrounding ourselves with, because they're not waiting for the government to come around. FEMA finally got there, and the town was like, yeah, you can go ahead and move on to the next town down, because if you're just going to slow us down, we don't even need you here. They were saying what Glenn and Mercury One and all of this audience is able to do for them is helping them get supplies in, helping them, enabling them to go out and make the most of their community. What the federal government is doing is hindering them. And it's sad to see this actually happen. We know it does, but to see it actually play out in front of our eyes is pretty eye-opening.
One thing that stood out to me from what Glenn was saying and what you've said even today, here at the studios, just talking about this, is the organization with which people were acting on their own, in part because there's so many former military, there's veterans there who know what they're doing. And you just described to me before the show this was an impressive operation.
Yeah.
And what's astounding about it is it's people right on the ground who are from the area, and then they're interacting with groups like Mercury One coming in, and there's no government involved whatsoever. There's just the right people in place.
That right there, you see, that was where the helicopters were landing, just in a field that's out back of a Harley-Davidson shop, right? The Harley-Davidson shop had, feet of water inside of it. They cleared all that out. They cleared the mud out. They're like, the bikes are probably going to be ruined anyways. Let's just go ahead, push everything to the side right now so that we have an area for people to go ahead and put all the water, all the food, all the supplies that you see right here. That's right outside the Harley-Davidson area. There's so much stuff there. They said when they first started, it was just a little overhang. And now it's taking up so many square feet outside of this Harley-Davidson shop. And that's what people are able to do, because I can tell you, going there, talking with these people, the supplies that they're getting, there's not trucks that are coming into town to resupply them. They can't just go out to their local grocery store and expect everything that they need to be there right now, because the devastation is so vast that it's really only accessible there by helicopter right now.
Yeah, a lot of it reminds me, I love this meme that's like, what is it? In a bad time like this, right? I read redneck because that's the word that I felt like we were all called up on the East Coast all the way up. But it's like a good old boy is worth more than, a PhD is worthless. And I think this is clearly one of those moments where you see the virtue of these people. But nonetheless, like, the suffering was great as well.
Yes.
And I'm curious what your thoughts are, given what you've seen, about how much it's going to take to get everyone out of this situation.
It's going to take a very long time. And Congressman Cory Mills was there with us, and he said that the people that he was talking to, they had unfortunately found 4 more dead bodies that day in a river. And the officials there that he was working with said, unfortunately, we're going to be doing this the rest of the year. Right? Because the devastation is so vast that they had a very low count, relatively low, of 120 deceased that we were working with early on, with thousands of people missing. Now, as the Starlinks come on board, a lot of these people will be able to say, no, I'm actually still here in my home. I'm okay. I just haven't been able to communicate with the outside world. But this is the devastation that we see, is just continuously through our helicopter rides over these areas, is just one town taken out after another, homes flipped over, cars all over the place. And it's a devastating scene. But again, I do want to leave people with the message of hope.
Yeah. Can you say anything about, you give us any good Glenn
Oh, absolutely. Can you imagine going into this town that has been hit by a hurricane and arriving with Glenn Beck? Right? We were out there on a mission. We were going to go take our final tour. We were hoping to see the Chimney Rock area that had been completely wiped out. But then there was a medical call that came in, and we were in one of the helicopters. So naturally, we grabbed a medic. We were there with the congressman and Glenn and everybody, and we just land in some guy's backyard. And there we were, just trying to find this address. And we're just going along, just walking down the street, and some guy goes, "Hey, do y'all need a ride?" So we get in the back of his pickup truck. So there is Glenn Beck, a congressman, myself, Glenn's security team, everybody from Mercury One, and we're trying to find this woman who needs to be, lifted out of there and taken to a hospital. She was dealing with some complications after a surgery that she had about a week ago. And all these people are like, "Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, come on, right over here." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, Glenn, nice to meet you." And they look at him again and they go, "Glenn, are you Glenn Beck?" And, because these people are like, sorry, man, it's been a long couple days around here. We were not expecting to see you. So we get the woman then loaded up on the helicopter. And there was another woman who was just, word had gotten out then. This is not a very big town in the mountainside here. And it was so funny. You could see one woman just sprinting towards the helicopter, right? We know Glenn is on that helicopter. So Glenn opens up the window, takes his picture with her, and she's like, "I did it. This is my time. This is the only time that Glenn is going to be in my town." But it was good for them because it was a sense of just, I don't have to think about all this stuff that's going on around me right now. I can take a 5-minute break and just enjoy what is happening, with the community that was around them, supporting them.
Amazing stuff. I do want to say, we should talk about some of all the things we're doing here at Blaze News, which is very much a part of. But before we do that, a shout out to Cory Mills, because I'm always skeptical of politicians who are doing this kind of thing. With him, I happen to know other people who know him, so I do know something about him. But what you were saying, it should be said, right? You should say this on air.
He's the real deal.
He was actually doing the work.
He is not just a congressman that is there for the photo ops. He was leading teams. He is in the helicopters every single day.
If you know what we mean.
He is the operator of all of the operators out there. And what I appreciate from him is he's not only doing the work, he's also acting as not just a congressman, but almost a journalist as well. He's going out there and providing daily video updates. And without that, I don't know how many real stories we would be getting from on the ground. And it's what we're trying to do here with Blaze Media.
Yeah, this is what I just want to emphasize for the audience. You don't start out with everything that Fox has. When Glenn Beck leaves Fox, he has to start from nothing, right? From just Glenn going out and having the vision to found Blaze Media, and then from there, you move on. So what you've seen is Blaze Media really sticking its neck out, like Jill going out there, Julio Rosas going out there, Glenn going out there with Mercury One, us going out and covering it. All that video you've seen on the show, right? You can see that on YouTube at BlazeTV, and also even on X and Twitter. So that's all part of reports that are coming out now on the website. And this is similar to what we did in Springfield, right? If you notice the last few weeks, we're one of the only, maybe the largest media organization that actually went out to Springfield, that's been out there with both video and also writing article after article about what's truly happening in Springfield, Ohio. That was a big deal all the way into the debate. Trump is still mentioning it. It's sort of a symbol during the campaign. And then also, we have to say January 6th. We haven't forgotten about that either. Steve Baker, we're still producing videos on the real stories that happen, stories that matter historically for the record, and an issue that isn't going away. Harry Dunn, we just did this video about this corrupt cop, Harry Dunn. The whole series you need to see. He's still relevant because he's going to be testifying before the Democrats in Congress. This is not going away. This isn't going away. So these are the kinds of stories we're just going to keep at this entire time. And that's why I think, we also need to stay positive. That's why we created Frontier, right? Because Frontier is about how we actually should live in a positive way, taking the lesson from the people in North Carolina, like you're saying.
Absolutely.
And thinking in the midst of this madness, how do we live? And that's the Blaze Unlimited membership.
It is. With Blaze Unlimited, there are so many different things that you're going to get. And it's not just a one-way conversation. We want you to be a part of what we're doing here and make your voice heard. You're going to have access to VIP events, exclusive merch. It's going to be so many great things going on. And really, it's just the beginning of Blaze. Glenn founded this a while ago, but it's really starting to come into its own now. Go to blazeunlimited.com/BNT to claim your spot for a founders member for Blaze Unlimited. It's exciting to be around here right now.